this is Smart Ball for the Super Nintendo. Game developed by Gang Freak, a little bit before Pokemon. I'm just going to walk you guys a little bit through some of the mechanics of this game. And I'm actually surprised this has never been before to any kind of event. I've never seen this played at any kind of marathon because it is kind of one of those platformers that has so many unique elements to it. The main character can stick to walls and to ceilings, and it's really neat how that works. We're going to use this to kind of break the game a bit in ways in which the developers didn't intend. There are some ways in which the developers did intend for you to break the game. We'll get to that also later. They threw a couple Easter eggs in there where if you took advantage of Jerry's boosts, it was fairly obvious what they wanted me to do. So, boss 1. Nothing bad here. Pretty straightforward, even with 1 health he can be taken on. Very safe boss. So, World 2... Let me tell a short story. World 2 and World 4 should be swapped. World 2 actually is very difficult in this game. Because there's so many different jumps that you don't expect that you're supposed to do, that the game doesn't make it very clear what's supposed to happen, and the player could easily get lost. Anyone who has any sort of connection with this game remembers struggling with a few of the jumps in this stage. So right there, you kind of have to know where that wheel's going to be. These little platforms, believe it or not, you can jump on them. I would have never guessed. Took a while of trial and error growing up to get those. A little bit of a maze room here. Don't end up going in the wrong doors, otherwise it takes you back. And this jump right here, this jump is kind of aggravating. Takes a couple of tries sometimes to get it. This is my setup for it. Backup strats. And we didn't even miss any spike cycles there. Look at that. So the next stage contains one of the most difficult bosses in the game again, hence World 2 is one of the more difficult worlds of the game, especially for speedrunning. We're going to get some damage boosting in there, and then I'm going to introduce you guys to momentum, which is something that I don't see in a lot of video games. I'm sure it's out there, but right here Jerry has to build up momentum, otherwise his jump is nothing. So right here, look at the gap of that jump right up. These controls are very messed up in this game. And that's one thing that only the player is going to know, but we're going to do our best to kind of share it with the audience. So, pretty chill still. By collecting the banners, we're creating some marathon safety here. Some safety life is around. Those are actually checkpoints also, the little banners. Collect them all for a life, just like the column. And they're also, again, little checkpoints. So if we die, we end up right near it. So this boss, JC583, previous world record holder of this game, actually used to use the seed. But Smart Ball, who is actually a speedrunner, recently discovered you can use the iron to take some shortcuts on this boss. And there it is, the 1 cycle. This used to be very tough to access, but now we have ways of getting there now, which is nice. So 3A contains one of the many mysteries of this game, and that's how do you get past this first part without damage boosting. We're just gonna damage boost past it. That's something we can't control. We pick up the jump, which is a brand new item to the player at this point, and in my opinion it's the most useful item for speedrunning. So I use the damage boost strat there. Smart Ball uses a more direct approach to it, but the penalty for that is death. So I tend to go with the damage boost strat there instead. Trying to keep this route as marathon safe as possible. So this is one of the skips that the developers actually intended you to take. It's one of the only secret exits, actually it is the only secret exit present in the game. And it's actually quite shocking. It kind of gives into the whole Japanese ploy that there was kind of cutscenes in between. And all this little boy is saying, please help me get home, I'm lost. And by helping the little boy and doing a good thing, you get to end the stage right there. The other part of the stage isn't very nice, so we'll take this by a mile. So, 3B, not too bad again. This stage is definitely kind of light on the difficulty, especially for World 3, considering there is one part up here that trips up newer players of this game. This wall's coming at you, and you have to figure out quickly what you're supposed to do. Well, you're supposed to figure out that, hey, Jerry can cling to the sides of walls, too. So we're going to collect a new item here. This is called an H-Up. And the H-Up expands on Jerry's life without needing to get rid of the jump in order to collect the life like most things, and it provides an extra spot for life. So right here, we're kind of playing games with the camera. We're going to take out the enemy right here. We're just going to inch up ever so slightly. Sometimes you'll take a hit there. No big deal. The boss of the stage is quite easy. I call this boss a dust spaceman. He's kind of weird looking. I have a joke with anyone who watches this game with me. I tell them that, you know, when in doubt, hit these enemies in the butt. That's not a joke. We hit all these enemies in the butt because that's the safest place for Jerry and his hitbox to hit the bosses. We're going to see this time and time again with a ton of the other bosses for the rest of the game. So, where do we hit them? In the butt. So now we move on to the easiest world of the game. Remember when I said World 2 and 4 should be swapped? For some reason we go on the moon. No explanation as to why. You're not on an auto-scroller per se, but Jerry can only move so fast. And in the meantime, all this is bunny management. These are moon bunnies. Unfortunately, they're out to get us, so we're going to kill them. It is important to take the extra idiot seconds to get rid of these bunnies, because if you don't, they will combo and kill you. I've seen this happen to even some of the best smart ball runners, so you don't take them for granted, but at the same time, this is kind of like the resident sleeper level of the game. So a little bit of Mode 7, another fun thing that this game has to offer. So this next part, Pink Floyd reference here, Dark Side of the Moon. We're just gonna fight a boss. This whole stage is a boss, and that's it. The boss isn't even all that difficult either. We're gonna take extra health during the marathon, probably. That's present right there. But since this was more or less an RTA, we went with some more dangerous strats. So phase 1 is done. Again, where are we hitting it? You don't have to say it. You see it clearly. There we go. That's it. That's all there is to this constellation. Okay, so this is definitely one of the more technical stages of the game. We're gonna find ourselves in a small maze with very cramped quarters, and we want to emerge out of those cramped quarters with at least 2 health, excuse me, because we'll need 1 health to perform a major damage boost in the game. And you can't help but wonder if this was intended in the game, but we never know. We never know if the designers of this game intended this skip to happen. Very calming music here. You need it too. This stage is very stressful on the runner. The hitboxes on all these spinies are kind of huge, so you want to make sure you take them out well ahead of time. And here comes the skip right here. We're going to cling to this wall. And right here, damage skip. And the developers thought a few spikes would hold us back from something like that. How naive. One of the reasons why Gagas and I want to offer this as a race is things can happen in this game, and as long as the audience gets to see at least someone do some variety of the skips, it's good to have 2 people on it just in case. So stage 6B, nothing really too complicated here. These jellyfish-like plants, they're kind of mean, so make sure you stay out of their hitboxes, which are enormous, might I add. That's really the only danger in this stage. Sometimes I'll grab the jump, sometimes I won't. There I couldn't seem to get up onto the blocks, so I'll grab the jump, make things go a little quicker. Alright, here we go. A little life for some safety here. Now, of course, again, quiz time. Where are we going to hit this boss? Where do you think? Anyone got a good guess? You guessed it. Now for some of the hardest sets of stages. This is World 6. This is where stuff gets real in this game. Thought you hated Jerry's controls before? Well, now you're on ice. So you really have to have these controls mastered by the time this happens. So right here you could jump across. Not a great idea, especially during a marathon run. These surfaces are slippery enough. Pardon the pig. You saw nothing. Anyways, moving on. There's no way of getting around that fire Trustus. We've tried. Smartball, the runner, did it once. Got lucky. Would not recommend relying upon that. So here, I would probably do that in a marathon run. Getting that life is really important there. There's a conga line of penguins coming up. If we get wound up in that and at 1 health, that's it. Done. So we got to be careful. And see, even there, I took a hit in the conga line. So it was a good thing I grabbed that extra health there. We have all sorts of backups tied into these stages. Except the problem with losing the jump is then this happens. Right wall, stick alongside of it, nothing bad happens, and that's it. And there's Blue Charmander. Gotta find a ball. Alright, so 6B. I have feelings about this stage. I've deleted my original name I had for this in my split. We won't talk about that too much, but instead we call it Bear. This bear in this stage is the boss. He's very menacing. You really have to be careful. You're on a slippery surface while fighting him. The most common way to die is to actually fall into the hole, not even die to him health-wise. So, what is the best thing we can do? You get in there as soon as you can. The bear gives you a decent pattern every time at the beginning, and you take him out. There's Zapdos right there, dropping down its sparks. Another Pokemon prototype. This was actually discovered by Smartball himself, the runner. That H-up is so critical to have. I think most of us runners still get it. So here comes the bear boss again. Be aggressive at the beginning, because you're not going to get a shot like that again during the whole boss fight. Also, the lag in this fight is just horrible. There we go. And then we wait and wait and wait for these platforms to go away. Alright. So now we get into World 7. World 7 is not bad as long as you know the route and you stick with it. Much easier compared to World 6. It's kind of like your calm before the storm that is World 8. These jumps in this stage are very difficult until you grab the jump. Then it's okay, but as you see right there, it's so easy to fall through these platforms. There we go. Second try is not bad on that at all. So now this is all button mashing. It doesn't look like much, but trust me, this part is unpleasant. You really have to mash down on those buttons, and you'll be able to hear it from the mics. That's how intense we have to push down on them. So there's two ways you can get up here. You can either use the crabs, which isn't always efficient, or you can do the backup strat that I found. And there's actually a flower on the far end of this stage. So when all else fails, use the dang flower. Easy every time. Alright, so 7B. You're now going down the slope towards the castle. And you want to be really careful with your health management on this stage. As you see in my PV, I am not. But that's going to tend to happen from time to time. We have backups. There are always backups upon backups you can take in the stages. That's one thing I always really liked in this game. So we're going to wait for that fire to pass by. Beautiful. So again, the game wants to test you one more time. Can you climb and jump over stuff? The answer is yes, by this point, hopefully. So again, we're kind of just clipping through some of these walls. It's kind of nice. It's not quite clear which walls you can and can't clip through, but we'll take them where we can get them. So here was the boss. It's a fish. I know I call it easy fish, but the new strategy is not so easy. Very nice little phase 1 there. And that's it. That second phase, though, if you're down to 1 health, it's so nerve-wracking. I've been able evil to get that guy out of the way, but honestly, taking a damage is the quickest way to get through it. Also, love the music in this game, by the way, I must say, especially in this stage. So this stage, there's so many sequence breaks between this stage and the next level, it's not even funny. This is the first one right here. You're supposed to go through that door and into a separate room, but with the jump, you can get up there no problem. This is kind of funny how it shows off how flat Jerry can get himself there. So this part right here, this is all about controlled movement. It's really hard not to take a hit there. There's always two flames that come down and you better be ready for them. Actually, sticking to that right wall kind of helps. I'm probably going to continue to do that. I believe in this run I just discovered that that's an easy way to dodge the second flame. So this is supposed to be a pipe puzzle, you know, from the ones in World 2. No big deal, though. They actually don't set up that puzzle as bad as it looks. Here's another puzzle up here, a puzzle full of blocks. Again, a not too horribly difficult puzzle. It's actually kind of surprising. I go in here with 1 health. This is a little risky to do, but as you can see coming up, this actually isn't that bad. It's all a matter of poke and run at this point. It's an illusion! Run! So again, not bad. You just have to be very conscious of where both the hitboxes are. Very last stage. This is the biggest skip in the game right here, right at the beginning. It's kind of risky, but even if you die on it, you don't lose much time. But that's it. You skip half the stage by doing that. It's very unbelievable. I love that skip. Best skip of the game by far. To give you an idea of how much it skips, watch what the first letter is that you're going to come across in Jerry's name. That's usually an indicator of where you are on the stage. We see an R. That's how much of the stage we skipped, and it is insane. I love the ability to dodge enemies by being on the wall too. There's the jump. We're gonna hold on to this jump till the boss. You can defeat the boss without the jump, even in a timely fashion, but the jump is much easier on your hands when you're playing. It's really difficult to get the momentum you need on the boss without this jump. Now that wasn't very smart. You have to make sure you stretch out and you get rid of that. Shoutouts to Smartball again for figuring out bottom route is actually indeed faster. I like the feature where you can catch yourself on a wall if you start to fall down it. Very useful for dodging holes in this game. I believe I started my timer a little sooner than I should have, so if it seems a little off, it's for that reason. There we go. Never mind. I guess I split a little late during my PB. We'll call it 1932, why the heck not? And that's it. I mean, you see all the different sequence breaks that can happen, all the different ways in which you can fight enemies. Smartball is a really cool choice for a marathon like this. at least to show off once and show off one of Game Freak's earlier developments. I love this ending. That's his friend who transformed you into a ball and stole your girlfriend, and Jerry forgives him. That's it. That's Smart Ball. Very cute little game. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see it at AGDQ. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. This was for AGDQ 2017, and thank you for watching. Alright, thank you everybody for watching.